Have you ever had a year that felt like it stripped you, but also built you at the same time? If you've been feeling like everything in your life is falling apart, then this video will help you to get a deeper understanding of what actually could be happening. So, first of all, hello, welcome. My name is Nadine. If this is your first time joining me on my channel, thank you so much for being here. This is my second year doing Vlogmas, and I'm very, very excited about it. Although I didn't think I would make it here to record a video because a lot has been happening, a lot has been going on. So, I am in a brand new location. A lot can change in a year. We're about to get into it and see if you can relate to some of the things I'm going to be discussing in today's video. So I have some notes here on my phone just to make sure that I'm staying on track. So if you see me looking down, that's why I'm looking down. So yeah, new space. Things are so disheveled right now. There's a lot going on, so a lot of things have felt chaotic. I've been doing a lot of back and forth travel for business related stuff, and my skin has been acting up. Like, it's been a lot, it's been so much going on. And if you've ever been in a time, in a situation where it felt like there was so much happening around you that maybe your life felt like it was literally falling apart, it can sometimes feel like you're going backwards in life. It can feel like you've put in all this work, all this progress, and for whatever reason, you're going backwards. And it can be discouraging and it can be frustrating and it can be annoying to say the least. And sometimes it's hard to see that and to feel okay with that and be like, okay, everything's going to work out. Like, honestly, I've been through a lot of different scenarios in my life. This is not my first time where had to feel that feeling of starting over. But one thing I can say about this time and this season of my life is that this does not feel like starting over. It feels like growth. It feels like elevation, even though a lot of the things that I've had to do, like moving, is something that typically does feel like starting over again. And just getting reestablished, new neighborhood, new town, new a lot of newness. And newness can sometimes be discouraging. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but it's putting us in a position to be able to have new experiences, which can be expansion, which is growth, which is good. Okay, so one thing to remind yourself, if this is something that you have been experiencing lately, is that even if your environment looks messy right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. A lot of times, as you are restructuring your inner world, working on yourself, leveling up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, your outside world will reflect that as well. And just remember that a lot of times the external chaos that we see is a mirror to your internal upgrading, the work that you have been doing on yourself. And it definitely doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It really just means that you are shedding old identities and past versions of yourself and allowing yourself to step into your power to become the person that you need to be in order to achieve the things that you need to achieve. And you're actually getting closer to where you want to be in life, even if in the moment it doesn't necessarily feel like that. So I definitely want to remind you of that. So you might be wondering, okay, new move, new place, whatever, whatever. What was the turning point? What was the thing that sparked this whole spiral of chaos happening in my life? Oh gosh, for you, of course, the situation may be different, but for me, what really triggered this transition was the breakdown of a business partnership. And I ain't even finna get into all of that because, whew, child, I ain't even gonna get into it. But at the end of the day, I want you to know, if you are in a situation, a circumstance, again, it looks like it's falling apart. That could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be any type of partnership, you know, some family disagreement. It could be a number of things. It could be job related. It could be a number of things. But a lot of times where we feel like things are falling apart, they're really being pulled into alignment a lot of times we want to be able to excel and to move forward and to grow. And the only way that we can do that is by releasing certain people, places, things, environments. We have to. Uh, I remember a few years ago, I kept saying to myself, an affirmation I kept saying to one of my friends, and I kept saying literally every single day, I release and I let go of all people, places, things, thoughts, habits, and behaviors that are no longer in alignment with my highest and my greatest self. Matter of fact, I talked about this in a live I did on my old Instagram channel. I popped it uh, on there a few months ago, and I, during Mercury retrograde, and I gave this live where I was speaking on that same type of thing. And honestly, it's like as you're speaking these things, you have to know that as you're asking for newness, as you're asking for growth, as you're asking for things in your life to improve, sometimes that means letting go of things that are not in alignment with that. So even if you're in a place that feels great, like I really do love the town I was living in before. The location was amazing. I was like super close to the beach, and it was lovely, and it was peaceful for a time. And then there were shifts because it was time to move ahead. It was time to move forward. And it can be frustrating and saddening. And a lot of emotions can come up in the midst of change, in the midst of being aligned with what you need to be aligned with in order for you to move forward. And for me, that was a partnership breakdown. And, you know, if you are experiencing something similar, you need to remember this one thing: that does not make you a failure. That does not contribute to failures at all. And even if you were to look at it as a failure, I'm sure you've heard this before, but failures are really stepping stones into success. So it's actually providing you with a ton of clarity about what went wrong, about all the things that you could have changed or could have done differently, and it's preparing you for what's to come. And when we're able to look at a situation and see the things that went wrong, and sometimes we've been known, sometimes we knew all along, there were red flags, there were things happening, and we just walked right into the situation regardless. So it's not even necessarily a surprise when things kind of fall apart. It's something that we were hoping maybe wasn't going to happen, but then it does happen. And when we do those things do happen, it's a reminder that there is more ahead. It's a lesson. It's a part of growth. You build off of that. That's a stepping stone for your success. So when things are falling apart, it is often an indication that you are being redirected to something else. And it's not something that you should necessarily take personally, even though it's hard not to, because we are humans having a human experience. I'm filming on my iPhone. Oh my gosh, having a human experience. And redirection is good. It brings things into alignment. So if something has ended for you this year and it seemed like a lot, I'm pretty sure, let me know, drop it in the comments. If now looking back on that situation, you can see how that was actually a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise. Even though in the moment it didn't feel like a blessing, it was absolutely a blessing in disguise. Okay. So after that huge breakdown of that partnership, there was a lot going on. It was starting to become busy season for me. So I do some travel, and for the work that I do some traveling, and it was like the middle of some back-to-back business travel. So in the middle of this back-to-back business travel, I'm in the process of moving, and it was like everything was hitting all at once. There was a ton of delays with the new space I was moving into, a ton of frustrations, unexpected things that I did not see coming even a mile away. Nobody could have prepared me. No, nothing could have prepared me for all of the delays and the frustrations and all the things that had to be endured during this move. It definitely did not go as smoothly as I would have liked it to go. Um, and during that, I'm not gonna lie, I was disheartened. I was a little bit frustrated because I'm like, I'm getting out of this one situation that just doesn't seem to be moving in the way that it should have. That's broken down. And now I'm trying to prepare a new space, new environment to move into, to have that peace and that tranquility and that quietness that I need in this time of the season of my life. and it was not going the way that I thought it was going to go. And one of the lessons that I really learned from that, and I hope that you will learn if this is something that you can resonate with, is that elevation does not always feel convenient. Okay. Sometimes alignment happens with tension. Sometimes there's resistance that you're going to face, and it's not because what you're doing is not aligned and it's not the right thing for you to do, but a lot of times you get trapped in that thought process of your old identity and the way that things used to be, the comfort of how things used to be. And it's like your subconscious is almost checking to make sure that you're making the right decision. And it's really about learning how to trust yourself, learning to be self aware, learning to have that discernment, and really trust that what you're moving towards is going to be so much better than where you're coming from. Because when you're moving into something new, it can definitely be frustrating. It can be challenging. It can be scary. And not really knowing if you're moving in the right direction can sometimes create that tension that we begin to see externally around us, right? So I'm sure that if you think back in your life, pause for a minute, and just think back and consider like what really big shifts in your life that you have made that happen at the most inconvenient times where you were not expecting it at all. I'm sure you can name one or two. If you are open to share, the comments are open. So definitely go ahead, drop it, and just share because a lot of people watching this video might need that encouragement and to know that they're not alone in this situation. So let's go ahead, create a good little community vibe, and share our experiences in the comments below. And I'm actually very excited to tap into your guys' experience and read the comments and see what's going on, you know? All right, so the plot thickens, okay? Things were already crazy. Um, and then I'm pausing for this one because this one is a challenge for me to talk about still because of how busy things have been with work and traveling and the moving and trying to get myself situated and like, everything that's been happening. This one still it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say out loud, but anyways, ooh, this Vlogmas, day one of Vlogmas is not going how I expected it to go at all. I'm gonna try to get myself composed and talk about how I was expecting Vlogmas today to look completely different than how it's looking today. But I wanted to commit to doing Vlogmas again this year because I did it last year and I had so much fun. And I wanted to improve and do better this year. But anyways, so in the midst of the chaos, actually the day before I did the final move, because I was moving like pieces by pieces, but the day when the final move was taking place, is when I discovered that my sister, my eldest sister, passed away. So that was a hard one for me. That was like I still haven't really processed it. I still haven't processed that at all, but it definitely changed the way I saw everything. It changed the way I saw life. Um, and I'm sure that if you've ever experienced loss, especially if you've experienced it recently, that loss isn't something meant to weaken you. It's really about you having the opportunity to see things in a more intentional way and be more intentional with how you move forward in life, right? Because sometimes loss will bring up things such as obviously sadness. It will bring up guilt. It'll bring up sometimes anger. It can bring up a lot of different emotions. And It just helps you to remember what matters in life, and ultimately helps you to refocus, once you process and you're able to like really tap into that. But this is like really new. Like my sister, I haven't really had an opportunity to process it. Ooh, and it's one of those things that it changes you fundamentally as a person when you experience loss, especially when it's somebody that is that close to you. And my sister, she was young still, you know what I mean, in the grand scheme of things. You know, she I didn't see it coming, as we never do see loss coming, and it'll probably take me a little bit. Grief is weird. Grief is weird. If you follow me on socials, I was posting a lot on my stories and just saying how weird grief can be, because one day you can feel like, oh, I'm good, like, I'm handling it well, and other days you can just feel like you just can't even function. So if you've lost anybody recently, especially, and you're still processing that hurt, my heart goes out to you. I know it's not easy. And if you can look back and think about a time when you've lost someone close to you, that it does help you to see things a little bit differently. So if that's something you want to share to encourage people who've recently lost someone, or someone that's still grieving loss, to share like just like how you're able to see something differently in your life, and how that person's legacy or that person's life and that relationship and that connection that you have with that individual allowed you to move through life differently. So yeah. Woo! I wasn't expecting a messy crying portion of this video, but there you go. But then after that, the plot thickens, because then like the weekend after the move, um, my family is from Jamaica, and I have a lot of friends there as well. And yeah, huge category 5 hurricane in Jamaica. Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot processing grief, and then now tapping into the collective turmoil being experienced by Jamaicans and individuals of the Jamaican diaspora abroad, that is like stressed out, wondering about their family members, wondering if they're okay, wondering about so many different things. The land, if the land is going to be able to recover, people's jobs, people's like all the thoughts that are going through your mind. And then furthermore, from a deeper level, for me as someone who loves Jamaica, whose family's from Jamaica, I'm first generation Canadian. It's just like, man, I really wish that I had went to Jamaica more. You're thinking about all the experiences, all the places that you've heard about, that you wanted to go to, that you kept putting, like, there's so much that happens in your life. You're worried about your family, all sorts of stuff come up when you experience that. And ultimately it's really like your roots get shaken to the core, and it shifts you, regardless if you expect it to or not. It shifts you, your identity. It shifts that part of your identity, and it absolutely does force you to reconnect to your purpose, to your legacy. Especially after I just dealt with the loss of my sister, who was born in Jamaica. It's crazy. It's been a crazy time. It's been a crazy time. So if you are also experiencing something in regards to your family, your heritage, or something where you feel like your foundation has been shaken, just know that no matter how frustrating that can be, it is nothing at all to do with it's not meant to destabilize you, sometimes it's really about framing the way we look at things, changing our mindset on how we look at things, and see it as really recalibration, because it's given me a deeper desire to do more, to do more, to do more, to do more. So yeah, it's been a lot. Overall though, this year has it showed me a lot of things. The biggest part of this year, it really showed me where I was giving my power away, and how important it is for me to choose myself. Letting go allows you to make more room for alignment, and you're able to experience more alignment the moment you decide to stop giving your power away and to really start trusting yourself, believing in yourself. Even though all of this chaos was happening around me with the move, with the business travel, with the loss of my sister, with the hurricane in Jamaica, I'm grateful because I was able to stay centered. Obviously, I'm human. I feel, I cried. There's days of frustration, of course, days of sadness, a lot of emotions, but because I was able to make the decision when the partnership was dwindling down to its final stages, that I need to choose myself. I need to do what's best for me and allow myself to claim that power and stop giving away my authority. We need to stop giving away our authority and calling it loyalty, when, especially when the people that you want to give that authority away to aren't loyal to you. Yeah. So if you have not gained anything from this video until now, mind you, if you didn't gain anything, you probably wouldn't be listening and watching till now. So if you're still here, what's up? I hope this video has brought you so much value, but I'm curious to know, what is one area in your life that you need to choose yourself? Maybe you didn't choose yourself yet in 2025, but maybe this is something that you need to work on for 2026. Choosing yourself, choosing yourself, choosing yourself. Because choosing yourself will literally change everything. It'll change the way you show up in life. It'll change the way you show up in relationships. It'll change the way you show up just every day, everywhere, and things will start aligning and falling into place, or coming into alignment the way that it should. So overall, although this year has felt very tragic, especially the last, everything I just mentioned basically happened in like the last 6 months of the year, or last, yeah, 5 to 6 months of the year. One of the things that I'm reminding myself is, all of this that's happened, it wasn't a restart, it was elevation. And letting go created space. Alignment is not always aesthetic, baby. Okay. It is not always aesthetic, but it will place you exactly where you need to be. And that's one of the things that I know sounds so cliche, but you're always exactly where you need to be, even when it hurts, even when it's frustrating, even when it's heartbreaking. These are lessons that are building you and helping you to grow and preparing you for the next chapter of your life, preparing you for where you desire to be. So here's a few little things that I want to remind you of before I wrap up this video, is that there is a big difference between a breakdown and an elevation, and you have to really think about it. Anything that is meant to elevate you, the breakdown always comes with an opportunity for more. It always comes, well, A breakdown is just a breakdown in the sense of there's no forward movement. Elevation always comes with forward movement, is what I meant to say. Elevation always comes with forward movement. A breakdown is just things falling apart for no rhyme, no reason, and you're feeling stagnant. You're not seeing any trajectory forward. But honestly, elevation shows growth. It shows progress. It allows you to look back and see where you were and where you are now. So there's contrast in a positive way. Okay. When things are falling apart, chaos does not always mean regression. Sometimes it's just preparation. It's realigning things to work out for your highest good and in your favor. And one of the biggest mindset shifts that allows you to turn your setbacks into alignment is really to look to see all the things that you're gaining, all the things that you are leaving behind that maybe weren't allowing you to grow. Maybe there were things that were really just blocking you from doing exactly what it is you want to do, right? So, really just think about that. Like, is this freeing me or is this propelling me forward? Or is this something that is just keeping me stuck? If it's keeping you stuck and it breaks down, baby, that's a blessing. Okay. So, remember, really calling back your power, trusting yourself is one of the biggest way to regain your power. You know what you know, and you just really got to trust yourself from the jump that you know what you know. And the minute that you tap into that and you stop giving your power away and you start trusting more and more that you're capable and trusting more and more that you know what's best for you more than anyone else, you'll begin to start seeing how your life starts moving forward in a positive way. And a big part of that is letting go. Letting go of people, places, things, thoughts, habits, and behaviors that are no longer in alignment with your highest and your greatest good. And as you move through those transitions, just staying grounded. That is the biggest thing I would say. Staying grounded through these transitions. Like I was saying, one of the things that really helped me was really just knowing myself, trusting myself, being rooted and grounded in gratitude, being grateful for situations and circumstances, even though in the moment it may not look like it was something to be grateful for, being grateful even for those chapters that are closing, those periods where situation circumstances are coming to an end. It's a blessing in disguise, baby. Okay. And even though you might be going through these transitions, really just remembering who you are. Self reflection is so powerful, and remembering who you are is going to keep you grounded. It's going to allow you to move through these transitions without losing yourself. And that's big, that's major. So even though you are going through a struggle or a challenging time, it will really redirect your focus to the importance of legacy, the importance of knowing yourself and building your self identity, because that's definitely what this last few months of this year did for me. So thank you so much for being here. I'm curious to know what part of this video landed for you the most. Was there anything that I mentioned that you can resonate with, especially in 2025? I'd love to hear it. Can't wait to connect with you in the comments. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that. It's a Vlogmas day 1, and we're about to keep the momentum going. Day 2, I don't know what I got for y'all yet, because I honestly did not even think I was going to make it to even recording this video today. A lot of things did not go the way I thought they were going to. Uh, but I'd love to see you in day 2. So click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when day 2 goes live. And also, I did create a group earlier this year for community, a tribe. I haven't really been active in it as life has been lifing this year. I've not been as active in it as I would like to be. But I would love to start doing that soon. So if that's something you're interested in, I have provided the link in the comments below, as well as where you can connect with me across the interwebs. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Vlogmas. I'm excited for this month. Happy December. And I'm excited for 2026, baby, because it's feeling like it's going to be real good, better than good, if I'm being honest. So, anyways, I love you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.